Hi viewers, those who are seeing the video for the first time, please like, share and subscribe and see the video up to the last so that you can understand what the topic that is been taught. You have been seeing the plants and you have been seeing the animals, but there are some of the organisms which cannot be seen with our naked eye. That are the organisms which cannot be seen with our naked eye, that are nothing but microorganisms. In this definition you can tell micro, that means that our eye cannot be seen with these organisms. Organisms we have been learned, they have been this is what the microorganisms, where these microorganisms are being presented. These microorganisms can be seen in your house also. For example, you take bread. If you keep the bread for a few days, that at least 15 days or 10 or 15 days, a blackish layer that is been formed on this bread, that is nothing but microorganisms. And you can see for example, you can see your curd, how the milk is been converted into the curd. That is also with the help of the microorganisms, which is lactobacillus that is been presented. And the microorganisms are presented everywhere. Without the microorganisms, the birth and death cannot be occurred. Why I am used to telling is after the death of any organisms, it should be cutted into small pieces in the soil, with the help of the microorganisms only. The any body, dead body can be converted into or it can be mixed into the soil with the help of the microorganisms only. How you can see the microorganisms? A specialized device must be there to identify the microorganisms which are being presented inside and outside of the world. The microorganisms are also presented in our body. The microorganisms are presented in the water, air, soil, or in the atmosphere also. That is why a special device that is been presented, which is nothing but a microscope. This microscope which is useful for the identification of these microorganisms. That is why the microorganisms are also been called as microbes. And this invention of this microscope in a detailed manner you can see afterwards. The next one, these microorganisms are being divided into 4 types, which are bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa. And another microorganisms is also presented, that is a virus. But this virus is been different from the remaining 4, because the virus that is been very minute in this highly qualified or specified microscope must be there to identify whether this virus is been presented or not. Now the harmful microorganisms, the first one, that is virus, which causes common flu and influenza, and recently we have been seen COVID, that is also caused by the virus only. And next one, that is the protozoans, which also causes these diseases, mostly the malaria, which has been caused by the protozoan, and bacteria, which causes that is typhoid and tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is nothing but TB. And some of the deadly viruses which also causes this is polio and chickenpox, which is also, now these are not that much harmful, but during the 17th and 16th and 17th century, this mostly causes this disease. This polio and chickenpox is mostly dreadful, and so many people have been died because of this. And there are also some friendly useful microorganisms are also being presented, which are the curds. You are eating the curd, which is bacteria which is, and the bread which is been formed by the yeast, and during the soil fertilization, these nitrogen fixing organisms which are being useful for this soil fertility, these are also caused by the microorganisms. In a nitrogen cycle, in a detailed manner, you can learn how the microorganisms which enrich the soil fertility. This is how there are useful microorganisms and harmful microorganisms. In human beings, how the good and bad people will be there, like that also the microorganisms are also, some are good and some are bad. Where the microorganisms live, the microorganisms will live whole wherever they have been presented. They are presented in the water, they have been presented in the inside of the animal and outside of the animal, they have been presented in marshy places, they have been presented in the desert water, they can be presented inside of the seas, they have been presented outside of the seas, and they have been presented in the atmosphere, they are also been presented in the space, they are also presented in everywhere. They have been presented from the high temperature to the low temperature. They can be live in minus degrees also, they can be live at extreme hot conditions also. That is why the microorganisms like algae, fungi, protozoans, virus, they have been presented in extreme climate, they are presented everywhere. That is why wherever the life will be there, where the life is been started, there the microorganisms will be presented. That is why everywhere the microorganisms are being presented. In the next video, in a detailed way, what are the some of the algae, what are the some of the bacteria and useful bacteria, harmful bacteria, useful algae, harmful algae, useful protozoans, harmful protozoans, and what is the structure of the virus, and how the structure will be different from the bacteria and remaining all organisms, remaining all microorganisms in detailed way we can see. Those who have been seeing the video, please like, share and subscribe, then I can do more videos which are been more informative, and some of the entertainment videos that also been coming in shorts, that also you subscribe. Thanking you for watching this video.